only in America does the president, when the president tweets about liberation, does he mean go back to work?
This is the same Congresswoman who just last week was celebrating the devastation of the oil and gas industry and the hundreds of thousands of jobs that are tied to that because she hoped it would provide momentum for her Green New Deal. This is also a person who may want to go back to her roots and remember that most Americans, unlike those in Congress, have to show up in order to get paid, and that they don't have the luxury of not doing their job and still being able to provide for her family like she does as a member of Congress. She might want to go back and remember that when she was a bartender and not a member of Congress, she didn't have that luxury. She had to show up to do her job in order to get a paycheck, and there are millions of Americans that are like that need that paycheck, not just for the money, but also their sense of sanity and their ability to be able to get out and do what they do best, and that's work hard, because that's who the American people are. And her totally out of touch lack of understanding of that is just mind-blowing.
When we have this discussion about going back or reopening, I think a lot of people should just say, no, we're not going back to that. We're not going back to working 70-hour weeks just so that we could put food on the table and not even feel any sort of semblance of security in our lives.
Honestly, it sounds almost so silly to say, but there's a lot of restaurants that are feeling the pain of racism, where people are literally not patroning Chinese restaurants. They're not patroning Asian restaurants because of just straight up racism.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine?
I think what I meant is like the settlements, places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty.
Do you think you can expand on that?
I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue.
People are going to have to start paying their fair share in taxes. Once you get to like the tippy tops, on your $10 millionth dollar, sometimes you see tax rates as high as 60 or 70%.
What an expression. Now, the real story isn't AOC's very old ideas. It's the media's gushy view of her. Even with her old ideas, she gets on 60 Minutes.